All right, guys, it made it into the garage. We're slowly making progress. This has been the project I'm most excited for over the winter. It needs a ton of work, but it's pretty cool. It's still got a lot of original stuff on it. I'm sure I'll go over this story a bunch, but my dad bought this thing brand new in 1984 from a Honda dealer. I'm guessing probably in Gilroy, California. Right after my mom and him got married. He had it for several years. I honestly doubt that it has that many hours on it. He ran it for a while. A few years later, they moved up to Oregon. He didn't ride it that much. It got parked out underneath a tree for most of its life. He sold it to my cousin, and my cousin sold it to his cousin, and in a roundabout way, it ended up back in my dad's barn. I took it out and rode it for about 30 minutes, and I was young and dumb, did not have an air filter on it, and it had some loose nuts and bolts in it, and I'm pretty sure it sucked something up and locked up the motor. So I haven't taken it apart yet to know for sure. But we started disassembly on it probably 15 years or more ago, and then stopped and kind of just haphazardly threw it back together. As you can tell, like, there's no nuts on some of the bolts. The carburetor, airbox intake is all gone. The muffler's gone. The wiring is just hanging here. It does still have some cool original parts on it that I would like to maybe refinish and keep. I believe these are the factory shock boots. They are very hard and stiff. We'll see how long those last. I want to get the forks off and get them rebuilt. The chrome is starting to get a little bit of pitting on it. So I'd like to salvage what we can while we can. I had thought about redoing this headlight bezel, but it's honestly kind of got a cool story to it. He bought it brand new, first ride out, got it out of the back of the truck. I believe they're out in Hollister Hills, took it for a ride, rolled it down the hill, bent and broke the headlight off it. And the headlight sat in a box for years. I think it's just sitting, yeah, the headlight's just sitting on it. I found it in a box when I was getting the three-wheeler out, starting to put some stuff together for it. Obviously, the thumb throttle's missing. I'm pretty sure that's in a box. The kill switch is missing. I don't know if I still have the factory one, but I put just a single push button kill switch on my TRX, so I'm pretty sure I still have that one. I believe they're a little different, but it's got to be better than the Amazon stuff. It still has the park brake setup on it, but the cable is missing, so we'll have to find that. The plastics are shot. The seat cover's pretty shot. So we'll probably be doing a set of Myers on it. I do plan on riding the bike. So I don't really foresee spending a ton of money on OEM fenders and shrouds. They're just gonna get beat up. The good news is the front wheel and hub are actually in really good shape. I don't know that we'll even need to refinish those. The tire is super dry rotted. If the sound quality turns out good on this, you'll hear it hissing right now. It's leaking. We're gonna go through and replace every bearing on it. The back wheels are OEM, but they're pretty banged up. We'll see if we can straighten them out. I think that I will probably throw a fresh set of dirt tires on it. These are some turf tamers. We'll put more of a factory style tire on that wheel, and then I'll probably get a set of aluminum wheels, polished aluminum, and put maybe some sand skates or something on it for the dunes. I'm pretty sure I have the factory OEM round slide carb for it. I think they were a round slide. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But I also have a spare TRX carb that I will probably run on it. I'm probably going to upgrade to either a V-Force or a rad valve reed cage. This is not the stock cylinder. I have the stock cylinder in a box. It's pretty rusty, but I think we'll take this off and see what bore it's on. I still have the factory OEM cylinder sitting on a shelf that we could have bored and port and polished and put back on these cases. It's an aftermarket pipe. If you guys recognize the pipe, I'm pretty sure it's aftermarket. If you recognize it, let's play name that pipe. I do need to get a muffler for it. And my dad says he might still have it in the barn. If he does, that would be pretty awesome. Still, I don't know how well you guys can see that. It still has the factory decal in it. Let's see if I can get a flashlight on that. We're gonna strip it down and have it powder coated. It's starting to get some rust. I just want to do it right. So first things first, I'm gonna order a manual for it and sit down and make a list of everything we need. I'm gonna try and keep it as factory as we can. I'm gonna run the factory bars. It still has the factory bar ends. I would like to find a set of OEM style grips. So I don't think it has a ton of hours on it. Like, they still have some waffling on them for being 40 plus years old. It still has all the OEM zip ties on it. The brakes obviously all have to be gone through. I don't know that this rear brake is even, yeah, it's not even hooked into the master cylinder. Clutch cable. I mean, it pretty much needs one of everything, guys. Fortunately, I do have a lot of stuff in the boxes. It needs a lot of rubbers that have dried out, tank rubbers, seat rubbers. But the seat brackets are there, and the seat pan is still in good shape. This corner is a little chipped, but I think we can sand that and fix that. And I did see where guys were taking the covers and the foams off them and heat gunning the seat pan and reforming it to fit down on the tank. So I think that's probably what we'll look at doing. And because I do plan on riding it, and I plan on my dad riding it, I'm probably going to go with more of a desert style seat with a high foam on it. I just think that'll be more comfortable. We'll get the shocks rebuilt on it and get it back out on the dunes, guys. I'm super excited. Still has the original taillight on it, and that means I should be able to make it street legal with headlight taillight. So I also think it would be pretty fun for running back and forth to the gym or down to the corner store. So we'll probably get it plated. We'll make it street legal. It's gonna be pretty much a lot of original color scheme. Stuff that was gold, we're gonna go back to gold. Stuff that was red, we're gonna try and go back to red. We are gonna do this set of wheels back to gold. I just think it's a cool look on it, and we're trying to keep it as factory as we can. I think I have the factory skid plates in a box, so we'll dig those up. We'll see if we can get those on there. Typically, I would say let's try and get it running before we tear it apart, but this thing is locked up, and we're probably going to be some time getting that board or getting the factory one board. I did take a pretty good dinger in the tank. I don't know if you guys can tell how dented that is. So we'll probably take the tank and either try and push that out maybe with some air or take it to a body shop and see if they can push it out. We'll get these shrouds off. That's probably first thing we'll get off. From what I understand, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you can't find these anymore. I see a lot of guys running like aluminum pieces up here just to kind of fill in the gap, which makes me really nervous because they're very old and dry and brittle, which makes me think I should just take them off and put them in a box somewhere. But let me know what you guys think, if that's a necessity. I don't think the front fender can be saved. It's pretty broken. I know there are guys out there who do some pretty magical stuff with OEM, but we're gonna order a set of Myers anyways and see how we like the fit. It's got a long road ahead of it, but I have 5 months. My dad's birthday is coming up in August. I would love to get this thing back up and running and take it back to Oregon and let him rip around on the dunes on it. So that's the goal. It's probably going to be some long hours here as well as some overtime to pay for parts. So stay tuned, guys. We'll keep you posted. I'm going to get this thing on the stand tonight. This weekend we'll probably start tearing into it and see how bad the top end is, and we'll start throwing a list of parts that we need on the board. But I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited too. Stay tuned, and we'll get this thing back to its former glory. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. This is where we're at on the three-wheeler project. I have been digging everywhere looking for the coil, which should mount right here. And I know that I have seen it somewhere, but like most things, it has grown legs and vanished. However, I've been digging through a bunch of parts. I have a ton of Honda parts, so I'm trying to figure out what is what. Which is good to have a lot of parts, but can also be kind of frustrating sometimes. I did find some carburetors that I can probably make work, including the factory one, which I know we can make work. But I am thinking about going with the larger TRX style. I also found a thumb throttle, which I'm pretty sure is for a TRX, and I know that I have the OEM ATC one somewhere. I know this is not OEM. It will probably work if I can get it working. It will at least get us on the road. But I found some other really cool parts. I found the cage that goes around the OEM front brake reservoir, which is why I would like to use the OEM one, because I think that would be a cool feature. This one has like a mirror mount on it. I'm pretty sure it's off an older like enduro style bike. So somebody might have swapped that when it was at my cousin's or something. But still need to find the kill switch for it. In my digging to try and find the coil, I got the tank off of it. Obviously we need to find some rubbers. I need to find this tank mount that bolts here and goes over the tank. That's what the seat hooks into. So I still need to find that. I need to find the muffler. I found an ESR one that I have for a 250R that I could probably cut the tube and weld it and modify it, but I would like to find the correct one for it. I do think that if we're this far, it is killing me not knowing what's going on with this top end. So I think I'm going to grab a socket and a ratchet, and we're going to take this head off and see what is lurking inside, because I have to know. It's driving me nuts. So let me grab some tools and we'll check it out. All right, guys, moment of truth. I got all the nuts off. Some of the studs came out. This is not the OEM cylinder, by the way. Some of the studs came out. And it looks like one of the studs had come out before and somebody replaced it with this bolt, which was not even tight. I don't think it could get tight. So let's pull the head off and see what weight's inside. I don't imagine it's going to be good. Not very good. Okay. The head's pretty beat up. Really beat up, actually. Hoping we can salvage that, because I do still have the OEM cylinder. I'm not sure how we got all of this debris on top of the piston. Looks like mice have been living in there, but there's no way they could have got in there. Unless the spark plug was out of it for a while. Piston moves. The cylinder is trashed. It's weird, I could not get it to kick at all. But it moves. I don't know if this is a stock bore cylinder, or maybe somebody replaced it with something bigger. But
guys, I guess that's a testament to Honda durability. This thing is hammered and it still moves. Well, I'm on a roll right now anyways, so let's pull this cylinder off and see how the crank looks. Hopefully the crank is still good on it. I was pretty for certain that this bottom end had never been apart, but when I was going through the parts that we got back with it, I found another one of these side cases, and somebody has obviously used silicone instead of a gasket, which is not a good idea. Maybe in a pinch, I guess, but as soon as you get some more time, do it right, I would say. So let's pull the cylinder off and let's wipe that off, and then we'll pull the cylinder off and see what weight's inside. All right, guys, as you can see, I ran the piston all the way down to the bottom. I have all the nuts broke loose on the outside edge. I'm gonna try and hold the camera while I do this, so bear with me. Okay, I think we're broke loose. There it is, guys. It's dirty. There's definitely some side-to-side play in it. Yeah, it feels dirty. I can't tell if that's debris grinding on the sides of the crank or the lower crank bearing. I think the best way is going to be to pull the piston off, clean all of this debris out, and lube everything up and see how it sounds. Obviously, guys, I'm not opposed to putting a crank in this thing. It's pretty old, and I don't really know what's been going on with it in the past. We have a lot of squirrel debris in here, or mice or something. So I'm not opposed to pulling it apart. I just kind of want to see where we're at before we dig in too deep. But I think I'll start with that. I'm gonna need 2 hands for it. So I'm gonna shut this off. We'll get the piston off of it. We'll get all this cleaned and drop some lube in it and see how it sounds. Okay, guys, I threw both cylinders up on the bench. The black one is the OEM cylinder. You can see the intake port on it is pretty rough. That's just factory Honda casting. This is the one that I pulled off of it. I think somebody's very likely been in it and done some porting and some cleaning on it. It looks like it's probably a couple sizes over stock bore. So I will take it down to the local moto shop and see if it has any bores left on it. If not, I will have them bore out the factory one and do some port and polish on it as well. This ran good, the 30 minutes that it ran really good. I did notice that one of the head studs was missing and they replaced it with a bolt, and all the other head bolts were loose. So I don't know if it's possible that it sucked some air and maybe leaned out. I don't know. The other thing, you can see all the transfer ports on it are pretty sharp and opened up and cleaned out versus the factory one, which is not. This cylinder also has some pretty heavy rust in it. So it's pretty thick. I don't know how many sizes over you can go on an 84, but there's a chance I might have to re-sleeve this one anyways. It's pretty rough. I'm going to keep it around. It's the factory OEM cylinder for it, so even if we don't use it, there's a good chance that I'll have it re-sleeved or bored out and cleaned up and get a piston for it just to keep it around, just to have it. If we ever wanted to put it back to totally absolutely factory, we could. But I think for the time being, I'm going to run this one into the shop tomorrow and see if they can get a piston for it and get it bored, and see what they think about the head, if they can get that cleaned up or if I need to order another one. In the meantime, I did get this pretty well cleaned up. It feels really good. Like I say, it has some side-to-side play, but they all have a little bit of side-to-side play. There's no up and down play on it. That being said, I'd like to do crank seals on it anyways. I'm going to put a new clutch in it. We're going to take all this off and refinish it. I want it to look nice. I don't want to run it with this silicone job on it and have it start leaking on us. So we're going to clean all that up anyhow. I'm just at the point of getting ready to pull the motor out of the chassis and start putting a list together of parts that we still need, or parts that need to be replaced, and parts that we need to find. I'm also curious what I can do to replace this rear master cylinder. I have been looking to find a factory one to replace it or a rebuild kit for it. This one is very dry. I'm assuming it's leaked all the fluid out. There's none left in the reservoir. I was also debating on whether or not I could get a more modern, like CR250 style or CRF 450 style, and make a mounting bracket for it, the style that has the reservoir incorporated with the master cylinder. I think that would save a lot of space and headache on here. I want to keep it as stock as I can, but if we have to update some things to make it better and more usable, I'm fine with that too. I do need to get a chain slider for it. I should have a chain slider here. I'm going to get new sprockets for it. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff recoated, refinished on it. Basically everything will be recoated, refinished. I'm going to try and go factory colors on it as best I can. And new bearings. This was a jewel, guys. I found the OEM grab bar in one of my boxes. What other OEM stuff did we find? Found a bunch of carburetors. Found the front brake master cylinder guard for it. I thought that was the skid plate for it, but after looking at it, I'm not sure that it is. It's kind of hard to tell when it's on the stand. I'll try and find some pictures of the factory one. I think this is too narrow in the front to go around these motor mounts. So I'll try and find some pictures of an OEM one. I have a couple more skid plates on the boxes, so if I can find one, that would be super cool too. It could be that it got taken off years ago and it's lost. Little stuff like this is gonna have to be fixed. I have to try and find the bushing that goes in there. But I'm pretty sure that's the factory brake caliper. I'll look that up too. If you guys know if that's not factory, drop it in the comments so that I don't spend hours looking something up. But let me know, guys. And next time you see this, it'll be out on the bench. It'll probably be in a separate episode. I think that's probably going to do it for tonight. But I'm super pumped, and we've got about 5 months to get this thing done and up and running in just the way I want it. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'm going to keep you posted as the weeks go on. But like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss out on cool stuff. All right, thanks, guys.